and the devil. We got Capricorn energy, Aries energy right here. Capricorn energy, Aries energy right here. They're not getting something that they wanted. The Emperor reverse, this is distorted masculine energy. This is a bully, a tyrant. Could be a karmic father. I feel like there's some type of ritual work. Somebody secretly did some type of ritual work, or they paid for some type of ritual work. And I feel like this could be whatever ritual. I feel like it has something to do with finances. It has something to do with finances. They could have been trying to block somebody's finances, and maybe this energy is returning to the sender. It has something to do with finances. They could have been trying to block somebody's finances, and maybe this energy is returning to the sender. Ten of Pentacles reverse, this is like financial ruin. You can talk about bankruptcy, foreclosure, the loss of a lot of wealth. The loss of a lot of wealth. If that's the case and this is backfiring, somebody is ready to go a different way. They know that they're not getting wish fulfillment. This is not working out how they intended to. This could be somebody very low vibrational. If that's the case and this is backfiring, somebody is ready to go a different way. They know that they're not getting wish fulfillment. This is not working out how they intended to. This could be somebody very low vibrational. Somebody toxic. Could be a Capricorn, could be an Aries. It's somebody toxic. A bully, a tyrant, just somebody that wants their way. I strongly feel just like somebody that has to have their way, a control freak. King of Swords reversed. This could be a corrupt person. Could be a Libra energy. Could be any sign. King of Swords reversed. This could be a corrupt person. Could be a Libra energy. Could be any sign. This is somebody that's oftentimes a liar, a narcissist. The particular outcome has got them in a bad situation. Or if somebody just lacks remorse, you know, they don't feel bad about something. Could be any sign. This is somebody confident, somebody self-assured. I feel like somebody, you know, they could have like went out of their way to like block finances for you or steal something from you, and you're still upright. This is somebody who didn't want to give up on something. Now they want to balance something out. I'm going to pull from the extra deck as well. This is either like a past person or a karmic parental parent. They could have been trying to block your destiny.
Lies may travel fast, but the truth has a nasty habit of showing up uninvited, usually right when the liar thinks they're safe. Isn't it funny how people work overtime trying to bury you under false stories, only to end up digging a hole big enough for their own reputation? Studies even show that lies unravel quicker in communities where people actually observe one another, because over time, consistency becomes impossible to fake. And here's the twist. That's exactly what's happening now. Someone is panicking because the mask they built for you doesn't fit anymore, and worse, everyone's noticing. The very opposite of what they swore you were is what people are now seeing with their own eyes. Their performance is crumbling, their script is outdated, and their nervous laughter isn't fooling anyone. You've become living proof that truth doesn't just survive lies, it exposes them. So buckle up, because what we're about to uncover isn't just the collapse of a false narrative, it's the unraveling of the person who thought they could get away with creating it. And trust me, their panic isn't about you anymore, it's about the fact that everybody else finally sees them. Number one, their lies built a prison, but you walked out free. They thought their lies would cage you. They believed if they painted you as reckless, unstable, or unworthy, that picture would hold you hostage forever. Their goal wasn't just to smear your name, it was to trap you inside a prison of perception where every door was locked by their words. The more they spoke, the more they tightened those bars, confident you'd never escape the image they crafted. But what they never saw coming was that the prison wasn't real. It only worked if you agreed to live inside it. And you didn't. That's why they're panicking now. You didn't fight their lies directly, you outlived them. You walked forward, built yourself, and let your actions do what no argument could ever accomplish. Over time, people looked at you and realized, wait a second, this doesn't match what we were told. That realization is lethal to a liar because once people spot one crack, the whole wall collapses. The most humiliating part for them is that you didn't even have to expose them. You didn't have to run around proving anything. You didn't need a speech, and you didn't need revenge. The truth revealed itself naturally because you kept living in a way that contradicted their false version of you. It's one thing to call someone a liar. It's another thing when the lie breaks itself in public without you lifting a finger. Now the tables have turned. The prison they tried to build for you has dissolved, and suddenly they are the ones stuck inside the bars. Their reputation is in lockdown because people are whispering, if they lied about that, what else have they lied about? The liar can feel the suspicion spreading, and that's why their hands are shaking. The cage wasn't yours. It was theirs all along, and the lock just clicked shut. That's the power of truth. It doesn't need defending, it needs patience. Lies sprint, but truth walks. And the walk always outlasts the sprint. Your very existence has become proof that their story never held weight. And here's the irony. The more they tried to convince the world you were trapped, the more you showed the world you were free. That freedom is louder than their panic, and everyone can hear it now. Number 2, the spotlight they weaponized became your proof. They thought dragging your name into the spotlight would destroy you. They believed that if enough eyes were on you, people would immediately accept their version of the story. Exposure was supposed to be their weapon, the light meant to blind you and make you stumble. But instead of revealing what they hoped, it revealed something else entirely. Your strength, your composure, and your authenticity. The very stage they built to humiliate you ended up showcasing exactly why their words don't match reality. That's the irony they can't swallow. They thought attention was poison, but in your case, attention turned into proof. People didn't just hear what was said about you, they saw how you carried yourself under the weight of it. They saw your patience when you could have retaliated. They saw your discipline when you could have folded. They saw your quiet strength when they expected breakdowns. Suddenly the spotlight was no longer burning you, it was burning them. The panic comes from the fact that their scheme backfired in front of the same audience they tried to manipulate. When people get to see you for themselves, they don't need explanations. They compare what's being said with what's being lived. And in that comparison, the liar loses. Because no matter how convincing a story sounds in the dark, it always falls apart under the light of consistent truth. Now they're stuck in a bind. They can't retract the lies without exposing their malice. But they can't push them harder either because the spotlight no longer works in their favor. Every attempt to smear you further only highlights your resilience and their desperation. The weapon they created has turned into a mirror that keeps reflecting back on them. That's why their chest tightens whenever your name comes up. It's no longer an opportunity to tear you down. It's a reminder of their failure. This is what they never calculated. Exposure doesn't destroy people who are grounded in truth. It only destroys those who live in deception. It only destroys those who live in deception. This is what they never calculated. Exposure doesn't destroy people who are grounded in truth. It only destroys those who live in deception. It only destroys those who live in deception.
Those that live in deception, but they think they live in the truth. Isn't that sad? What the enemy has done to the people of the Most High God has fooled them again, and they still won't accept the truth. Here I am to give them the truth, and they still don't accept it. 225,000 years later, they still are dumb and on the wrong path. But to hear them talk, oh, they on the right path. I'm the one that's stupid. I'm the one that's dumb. I'm the one that's mentally ill. I'm crazy. You gay. Two men ain't supposed to be together. Two men ain't supposed to be together. Two women ain't supposed to be together. Who told you that? That's not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible.
Westerners can't tell the truth. Okay, so let's talk about how and why they can't tell the truth. I've said it many times. Westerners are incapable of honesty. They're incapable of telling the truth. I've explained many times. I'm not saying it's deliberate. It's not necessarily on purpose, no. You know, that would be like literally like saying someone who has no legs is on purpose not playing basketball. You understand? I'm talking about incapability, not deliberate intentional dishonesty. I mean, obviously, there are plenty of people who are just straight up liars out of the West and everywhere else, but I'm not talking about them. I'm saying that honesty is not their language in the West. Truth is not a dialect that they speak. They don't know how to speak that language. I know people get mad when I say that, but understand, I'm actually telling you something that has been done to you. I'm telling you something that you have been deprived of. You understand? I'm telling you something that you're a victim of by your culture, by your so-called civilization. They victimized you in this way. This is the most graphic and the most literal form of kufr, of kufar, covering up, concealing, burying the truth. And this is all they do. It's the only language they know, truly. This is the only language they know. And this is why everyone around the world is quickly coming to the conclusion that you simply can't be engaged with. The Westerners simply can't be engaged with. It's just not productive. It's not productive. It's not useful in any way whatsoever to engage with you. Like I've said before, in these interactions, no communication ever actually takes place when we talk to you, when people in the global South talk to you, when Muslims talk to you. And that's a shame. It's a shame what has been done to you, but it has been done to you. It's a shame what you've been deprived of as a human being. This dysfunction that has infected, intergenerational dysfunction that has been inflicted on your culture. Now, of course, some of what I'm talking about could be dismissed as their ignorance or their misunderstanding, you know, or some sort of a personality disorder, like you can't pay attention, you have ADHD or what have you, or you're aggressive, you have a problem with your temper and so forth, and this is why you can't be engaged with it, why there can't be productive, normal, healthy, rational conversations with you. But for me, I characterize all of these behaviors under the overarching label of dishonesty.
That's the truth. They cannot tell the truth. And I don't think they know they can't tell the truth. Like he said, it's a disorder that they don't know they have. Their mind is backwards. Something is wrong with them. They think in a backwards way. And seriously, it's not to discredit them or make fun of them or dehumanize them, but they are a different breed of people. Something is wrong with those type of people. They call what's right wrong. See, a lot of people have suffered over here needlessly. They shouldn't have suffered. I shouldn't have suffered. My entire life was really made miserable because of their ignorance. They are very ignorant. And it's a whole bunch of white folks niggers that will lick their ass clean just to get along with them.
In these interactions, no communication ever actually takes place when we talk to you, when people in the global South talk to you, when Muslims talk to you. And that's a shame. It's a shame what has been done to you, but it has been done to you. It's a shame what you've been deprived of as a human being. This dysfunction that has infected, intergenerational dysfunction that has been inflicted on your culture. Now, of course, some of what I'm talking about could be dismissed as their ignorance or their misunderstanding, you know, or some sort of a personality disorder, like you can't pay attention, you have ADHD or what have you, or you're aggressive, you have a problem with your temper and so forth, and this is why you can't be engaged with it, why there can't be productive, normal, healthy, rational conversations with you. But for me, I characterize all of these behaviors under the overarching label of dishonesty, because that's how it pans out. That's the practical impact. That's the practical outcome. You know, you inject falsehood, you muddy the waters of discourse, you distract, you derail, you deny, you deflect, you sidestep. You know, you bring in irrelevancies into the conversation. You bring in fake issues. You do anything and everything. Wallahi, you do anything and everything to try to stop honest discussion. You always try to obscure reality by hook or by crook. And so the practical impact of all of that, that all comes out to the same practical impact as if you were just lying. I mean, it goes much deeper than just false narratives. It's deeper than propaganda. We're actually talking about a culturally ingrained reflex against truth. A culturally ingrained reflex against true and honest discourse. This is a civilizational pathology. And in fact, it comes down to foundational morality, you see, because you have that insistence on moral relativism, which is nothing but nihilism for beginners. It means ambiguity, moral ambiguity. They're morally agnostic, you understand? That's the heart of their dishonesty. Because honesty, truthfulness, it's not just about words. This isn't just about what you say or what you don't say. Dishonesty isn't just calculated lying or deception. You know, honesty is not actually fundamentally an intellectual, or it doesn't originate in the intellectual sphere, if you understand what I mean. Because before you choose to distort reality through deception, you know, before you string together words to speak a lie or to obscure the truth, you have in your heart already rejected reality and in fact the creator of reality and your inevitable meeting with that creator when you will be held account for whatever you say and what you don't say. You have imagined in your heart that you can actually weave an alternative reality. You can create your own fictional world, and that this fictional world is possible for you to somehow superimpose that upon the objective truth of the real world, and then you get to operate in your own version of the world according to your own rules, and you think that you can get away with it. You have internally convinced yourself that truth doesn't matter. So lies aren't lies. They're just equally valid alternative versions of reality. But existence is not a narrative. I said it's a civilizational reflex because it's both ingrained in the culture and because I think you can trace it back. You can trace how it grew out of the conditions, like I've talked about many times in Europe, in the West. You know, centuries of hard winters, thin soil, volatile harvests, recurrent scarcity. That trained whole societies to survive first and justify later. Dishonesty is a trademark of being completely dunya-centric, or what you can call materialistic, meaning that you are inordinately concerned with material things, with material survival, with accumulating resources, and so on. Very Western. When material well-being feels threatened, then truth just becomes negotiable.
I'm not one that is consumed with fine things. I mean, it's nice to have fine things, yes. But if you don't have love and joy and all these things, fine things does not bring you happiness. I am so sorry to tell you that. What is fine things? And you have no one to enjoy them with. I mean, those people that you enjoy them with are probably fake friends because they are fake. Because all they're thinking about is money and how to get over on somebody else to get it, to steal it.
West, you know, centuries of hard winters, thin soil, volatile harvests, recurrent scarcity. That trained whole societies to survive first and justify later. Dishonesty is a trademark of being completely dunya-centric, or what you can call materialistic, meaning that you are inordinately concerned with material things, with material survival, with accumulating resources, and so on. With material things, with material survival, with accumulating resources, and so on. Very Western. When material well-being feels threatened, then truth just becomes negotiable. You start to make up the rules as you go, you know, to get what you want and not feel that you've done anything wrong. You want to be able to get what you want and not feel that you did anything wrong in doing so. Europe went for long stretches of history inside that sort of pressure cooker, environmental pressure cooker, low fertility soils in the north, repeated food crises and so forth. Literally centuries of bad weather. This isn't folklore. This is the climatic and agrarian record of Europe from the Little Ice Age and its, you know, the agricultural shocks of that to the grim sequence of famines from, you know, 1315 and onwards, rotted crops, starving livestock, and so forth. They had a rough existence. I'm not kidding. And in my opinion, they resented that. Under those conditions, a pattern set in mentally, spiritually. First, normalize getting by through extraction. If the crops fail, then you raid the next village. You know, you pivot to raiding, pivot to external predation. This wasn't born out of adventurism. You know, scholars of European history described all of the pressures that they were under, the resource limits, demographic problems, political opportunities. That catalyzed the Viking turn to organized acquisition abroad. That's what made them do that. The method was violence, but the ethic was necessity, their version of necessity. The narrative was glory. See, that template, the template of basically externalizing the solutions to internal scarcity, this became a very durable habit, and it became your culture. You even did there was even a domestic version of extraction. enclosing the commons. They were fenced off. Customary rights were dissolved, and it was all done according to the language or the rhetoric of improvement. You know, they laundered the dispossession of the people with the rhetoric of productivity and efficiency. It was a new moral grammar in which legality could sanctify harm, and policy language, or the language of policy, could bury the truth. You know, case histories from England show how communal governance of the land was completely dismantled, and peasant rights were extinguished under these banners of productivity and efficiency and order, and so on. Once that moral software was written at home, well, they exported it. You know, mercantilism that framed the whole world as a finite treasure chest to be seized and to be hoarded. The point was not reciprocity, it was extraction. Extraction justified as national strength. This is the textbook doctrine of early modern Europe. Monopolize trade, bar rivals, drain the peripheries, and called all of that prosperity. Language did the heavy lifting on that, you know, recoding seizure as commerce and subjugation as civilization. Oh, they've been lying for a long, long time. They've been lying for a long time. And they've been dishonest before they could even write it down. And they never got honest. This is what I'm telling you. If you move on to the modern era, well, obviously you have the emergence of what we know today as propaganda. During the First World War, America, they built a whole system. They built a whole government department for shaping public opinion. It was called the Committee on Public Information. And they pioneered methods of propaganda. They pioneered methods of indoctrination, really of brainwashing, that would later even be used by the Nazis. Okay, so this was sort of the, you can say, the official beginning in the US of state corporate orchestration of public sentiment. Out of that milieu came someone like Edward Bernays and the concept of engineering consent. He understood that mass psychology could supersede public deliberation of individuals. And then you had someone like Walter Lippmann, who suggested that slogans could replace actual thinking processes. The technique matured, not only to sell products, but to sell versions of reality. If you don't know about Edward Bernays, you should look him up. He was quite ingenious. He was the epitome of an evil genius, diabolical. By the 1980s, you created what they called in academia the incredulity towards meta-narratives, which is just a sophisticated way of saying that there is no binding story. There's no final account. There's no objective truth. There's no overarching reality. There's only language games and power. That when the West, you know, the sort of official voice of the West, the governments, the media, the elites, companies, corporations, so on, when they use words like morals or values, or when they use words like justice or human rights or peace or what have you, I was saying they mean something completely different than what most people mean when they use those words. But I got a lot of comments from people saying, oh yeah, that's doublespeak, or hypocrisy, or deception. But no, this is actually what I was trying to explain at that time. You know, I normally wouldn't do a follow-up if people misunderstood what I said, but I think this is extremely important to understand. It's not doublespeak, it's not hypocrisy, and it's not deception. No, they are being completely honest. This was my point. They're being completely honest, completely accurate when they depict, for example, the genocide in Gaza as being completely justified and defensive. They're being completely honest when they said that 1 million babies dying in Iraq from a decade of sanctions was worth it. They're not being hypocritical. They're not saying one thing and meaning another thing. These are their actual values, and you have to understand this. There is a fundamental and profound difference between their values and our values. They're not contradicting their values. You must understand, they're not betraying their values. They are acting on their values with consistency and continuity. Committing massacres against innocent civilians does not trouble their conscience, any more than you stepping on a bug troubles your conscience. They don't see anything to feel guilty about. They feel that they've done something good. You have to understand this, because if you don't, you will severely and dangerously underestimate their danger. They don't see anything to feel guilty about. They feel that they've done something good. You have to understand this, because if you don't, you will severely and dangerously underestimate their danger. And you'll make the fatal mistake of believing committing massacres against innocent civilians does not trouble their conscience, any more than you stepping on a bug troubles your conscience. They don't see anything to feel guilty about. They feel that they've done something good. You have to understand this, because if you don't, you will severely and dangerously underestimate their danger.
Now you understand where the confusion is at, where the controversy is at, where the arguing is at. They don't think like we do. They have a totally different mindset, which is the very opposite of ours. They enjoy violence, but they say they don't. We don't enjoy violence, and we don't. But they love to run and get that gun. They call the Bible and the gun the same thing, the Word of God. And you know what? That's the government of deception for you. God. Don't be fooled by these people. They are demons. Many of you will follow the demon because you are a demon yourself. But for those who don't want to follow the demon, you better get yourself on the other side of that fence. This is a spiritual war. This is light against dark. If you think Donald Trump is light in the righteous way, go with Donald Trump. If you think the Most High, Supreme, the creator of the universe is the right, then you go with that. Make up in your mind this day whom you're going to choose to serve, to walk with. Donald Trump or the Most High. And keep in mind, they think that Donald Trump is the Most High, okay? Don't be deceived. You cannot say anything bad about Donald Trump or Charlie Kirk or that government of deception will do something to you that's diabolical. They're of the devil.
Folks, breaking news, ABC is suspending Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely from his late night show over comments that he made about Charlie Kirk. Why do they do this? Because Nexstar, one of the local television station groups, was threatening to remove Kimmel's show from their stations as a result of those comments. Now, let me explain to y'all, and not only that, the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, who is a Donald Trump sycophant, went on the show of right-winger Benny Johnson. You know, the dude, I think Benny got money from the Russians, I believe. He went on his show and called on Disney to suspend him, or he was going to pull the licenses of ABC. Now, let me explain to people how this works, okay? ABC, the network, Disney owns ABC. ABC is a network. The network does not have an FCC license. The Federal Communications Commission grants broadcast licenses to local TV stations. Disney ABC owns several. They're called owned and operated stations. So the FCC could take action against those stations. But you have these affiliates. They pay ABC for their programming. Those are owned by Sinclair, Nexstar, Tegna, and others. So Nexstar, because they own the stations, could say, we're taking you off the air because we don't want to piss off the FCC chairman who can revoke our licenses, which is very rare, but under Donald Trump, they have been threatening this left and right. The same Brendan Carr has been threatening companies, ordering them to remove DEI, to do all of those different things. He told Paramount, not approving the merger, let's you get rid of DEI. Every company that is governed by the FCC, including some telecoms, are scared to death because Brendan Carr is using his authority to force these people to do the bidding of Donald Trump. And so now we have this news coming out now that they are suspending or removing the show, removing Jimmy Kimmel's show for an indefinite period of time over these comments made regarding Charlie Kirk. Let's go to my panel. Rebecca, I want to go to you. I mean, listen, Donald Trump's remember, he comes in, he settles with Disney. He basically tells Paramount, yeah, y'all gonna pay me up or ain't approving your merger. Same thing. They're kissing his butt. They hire a right-wing ombudsman who has no experience whatsoever in media. What NBC is doing. And so this is about, listen, the Washington Post has capitulated. You got them firing people. They just fired Karen Attiah, opinion writer. They have no black columnists left on their opinion page. All of these media people are running scared because Donald Trump is using the authority of the federal government to bring these people to heel. And we now see this here with one of his biggest critics in Jimmy Kimmel. And this comes on after CBS announced they're canceling his other big critic, Stephen Colbert, and his show.
Well. That shows they don't care about us. They care about themselves and their pocketbook. They don't care about no citizens. They don't care about human beings. You just heard a guy tell you about they don't care about no human beings. Their goal is money only. Blood and money and a gun. Blood and money and a gun. That's all they want. Blood, money, and a gun, because they don't really associate with God. That's why their church is dead. That's why they just sit there like knots on logs. It's awful. Who gonna sit in a damn service like that? Not me. I sure ain't. I know better. And you can take your goddamn pastor and teach him the truth. Or he can sit his ass down and stay down, or he ain't shit. I'm going to tell you what the Lord thinks of you. He thinks that you are some stupid ass fools to be human beings and ain't got a lick of sense. You want to put me in an institution, put me under the ground. The one who carries the truth. While you want to praise this man who carries the lie. Y'all some dumbass motherfuckers. And I'm telling you, you some stupid ass, goddamn sorry ass motherfuckers. You think I'm gonna work all my life, do the hard jobs, get the lowest pay, then when I get ready to retire and go out on disability because y'all done work me to death and I can't use my body good no more, you're gonna take everything I got and kill me. You think the Most High put me here for that? You really is stupid. You need to slap your own damn self. Twice. On both sides. And in the face and in the back of your head. Slap yourself 4 or 5 times because you are a stupid ass fool.
New York, I'm Chris Hayes. When Stephen Colbert announced that his late night show was being canceled back in July, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, had a chilling reaction.
Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going. I don't know, but I would imagine because they get, Colbert has better ratings than Kimmel or Fallon. You know that.
They're next. I hear they're going to be going. Well, tonight, an ABC spokesperson confirms that Jimmy Kimmel's late night show has been preempted indefinitely. Now, it comes just hours after a large set of ABC affiliates announced they would refuse to air Kimmel's show. They say because of comments the late night host made on Monday night relating to the motives of the man that shot and killed Charlie Kirk, wrongly suggesting the killer was part of the MAGA movement. He was not. Nexstar, the largest owner of local stations in the country, came out and said it, quote, strongly objects to recent comments made by Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC affiliated markets. And if that were the whole story, he said something, it was not correct, the affiliates pushed back, well, then that would be one story. But that, of course, is not the whole story, okay? Because crucially, just hours before that statement, Trump's hand-picked FCC chairman went on a podcast and suggested ABC's broadcast license or affiliates could be at risk if they did not suspend or fire Kimmel, essentially issuing an order saying, and I quote him here, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." Well, Hours later, ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely.
Now, this is how dumb Black America is, how uneducated they are, because they don't know the truth. They have no idea what the real truth is. And it's so sad, it's heartbreaking that they're going to be murdered by the same people they are worshiping and following. Whether they're worshiping or following, they're going to be lost because they're with that crowd of people. It's so sad. Their soul will be lost. Everybody's body's going to go away. You going away from here, but where's your soul going? Up or down? Whew. I hope you made your reservation with the Most High and is in good standing.
Black preachers from across the country certainly were not holding back from the pulpit on Sunday. Here is a few of what some of them had to say. We're going to start with Pastor Jamal Bryant, New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Atlanta.
I'm concerned about all of these Negro preachers who've been, in fact, talking about that this man that was killed was the answer to Christ in the earth. Y'all ain't saying that. They having moments of silence in black churches all over the country over a man that was racist and a white supremacist. How dare you compare him to Martin Luther King? The only thing that Charlie Crist and Martin Luther King got in common is both of them was killed by a white man. After that, they got nothing else in common.
In the name of Jesus, I pray that you'll perform a miracle in this country. It does not necessitate turning water into wine. We're asking you that you will shift gun control in this country. I pray that our seniors will feel safe. I want our parents to feel safe sending their kids to school and not be alarmed, fearing that there will be a school shooting like it was in Colorado on the exact same day. I pray, dear Lord, that there will be a peace that passes all understanding. I pray that you will disarm the adversary. Now, God, I pray that you will strengthen us so that we can fight in the spirit realm, that we'll be able to pull down every stronghold, that we'll be able to lean on you for areas that we do not understand. Thank you that this shift, this revival will take place not by might, not by power, but only by your spirit. And God, we're saying to you today publicly, you can use us as healing virtue for this land. Thank you, dear Lord, because you already gave us the remedy. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, you'll hear from heaven. God, heal America today.
Folks, Reverend Dr. Marcus Cosby, Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church in Houston.
Last week in Denver was the 47th school shooting this year. And we got to be careful and we don't lose our song and get so comfortable with the hell that's raging in our streets. We still got to be conscious that there's some things happening in this world that are trying to rob us of our song. I really despise the way that Kirk was killed last week. I despise the way he was killed. Shouldn't have gone down like that. But political violence ain't nothing new to this nation. Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear. They killed our ancestors over political violence. That was political violence right there. Knees on necks, that's political violence right there.
Want to kill you because you're telling the truth and you come over here in the white neighborhood and went to the white church? That's political violence right there. Poison me. That's political violence right there. Y'all some sorry ass motherfuckers. And you take your joint European slave union ship, Jesus, and go back to Europe and serve the government of deception over there. You sorry ass pieces of shit. You ain't shit.
But political violence ain't nothing new to this nation. Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear. They killed our ancestors over political violence. That was political violence right there. Knees on necks, that's political violence right there. and some Skittles and a drink, that's political violence right there. Let's be clear, this ain't new. This ain't new. And I want them to be just as concerned about Kirk and be just as concerned about Trayvon as they were about Kirk. And just as concerned about my brother that just got shot last night as they were about the brother that got shot a couple days ago.
Nobody had never heard of Charlie Kirk around here, but them conservative MAGA people. Everywhere I heard this, ain't never heard of no Charlie Kirk before. And now all of a sudden the flag has got to be half-mast and he's a hero. No, he ain't. He was a devil. And I don't mind telling you, there was a goddamn devil. And Donald Trump ain't nothing but the goddamn sorry-ass devil who's gonna rot in hell.
But political violence ain't nothing new to this nation. Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear. They killed our ancestors over political violence. That was political violence right there. And while I'm on that, can I go a little farther? You and I need to be very careful. All of us need to be careful of the public positions that we take. Be very careful. Mr. Kirk said for years that sometimes there in schools there has to be some lives sacrificed to protect the Second Amendment. I'm not making it up. Some lives have to be taken to protect the Second Amendment. Got to be careful of the positions you take, because they might just come back and take you. I am not applauding his death. That boy should not have died. His children got to be raised without a father. His wife has to deal with living without her husband. It should not have gone down like that. But the Bible says if you live by the sword, be careful of your public positions, because the Bible says you will reap what you sow.
Folks, Pastor Rudy McKissick also spoke. He's the senior pastor of the Bethel Church in Jacksonville, Florida.
The news of Charlie Kirk's murder has shaken this nation. And I must say from the outset, the act itself was despicable. No one deserves to be gunned down. Violence is never the answer. And the one who pulled the trigger must be held accountable. We must also keep Charlie Kirk's wife and children lifted in our prayers, because no matter our disagreements with him, they are now living with a hole in their home and a grief in their hearts that only God can heal. But while we grieve, we must also be honest. You should be able to walk in sympathy over the loss of a life without having to sanitize the reality of that life. Kirk's rhetoric was often divisive, inflaming race, sowing fear, and fueling hostility. And now in the wake of his death, what do we see? Death threats against churches, threats against HBCUs. The Department of Education, on the day after this senseless murder, cut $350 million in grant monies to HBCUs. Threats against the very places that have always been sanctuaries for Black advancement, Black faith, and Black freedom. If America cannot protect her classrooms and her sanctuaries, then what does that say about the soul of this nation? All in an effort to further their own careers and kiss the ring of a governor. These are hate-filled times. These are hate-filled times. These are hate-filled times.
See, give me messages, please, and thank you for Leo. Leo, you got a playmate here. Somebody's playing in your energy. All right, let's see. A player playing games, not serious. Informal relationships here. All right, this person could be doing this for fun. They have hidden benefits. Anyway, you got divine support here on the bottom of the deck. All right, let's see. Journey. All right, so you might be leaving this person behind. Leaving familiar situations here. So what we're not getting ready to do is invest in people that are players, liars, you know, whatever. Give me messages here, please. All right, so this is a false person, Leo, that you got in your energy. You got somebody here that is possibly very childish in your energy here. All right, but wearing a false mask. August 10th could be significant. The 6th, June 8th could be significant for somebody. Somebody here could be 44 or 54. All right, let's see. Give me messages here for Playmate community. This is somebody in your community. Somebody that is close to you, or if you have a platform, this person could be lingering in your platform. Viewers here, I don't know, but it looks like you are walking away from this person here as well. And here's the Thief of Joy. Golly. Yeah, there could have been a partnership, a marriage here. This person could have caused you all kind of worry, stress, anxiety, or Thief of Joy. Golly. Could have been a partnership, a marriage here. This person could have caused you all kind of worry, stress, anxiety, or to come and take something from you here as well. Yeah, there could have been a partnership, a marriage here. All right, but wearing a false mask. August 10th.
Somebody sick to their fucking stomach. Do you hear me? Oh my God, Collective. They be sick to their stomach with you, a situation in their life. I don't know, but somebody is literally sick to their fucking stomach. And as I pulled this deck out here, I was like, okay, Spirit, what's going on with this person? What's going on with this energy? And Spirit said they sick to their stomach. Somebody sick to their fucking stomach with someone here. All right? And somebody sick to their stomach with somebody who keeps yelling. This person keep yelling. That's all somebody knows this person is like, yell. That's all this person want to do is just yell. Somebody, oh, Lord. Whatever this person did, I don't know why this person, and it's like they yell about everything. I hear they won't shut the fuck up.
Every lie has an expiration date, and yours just rotted in front of the whole world. Chosen one, let that sit heavy for a second. The people who thought they could hide you, erase you, or disguise you as ordinary just got exposed in the worst way possible.
They wanted a child of the Most High, dead, to keep the truth hidden of the Most High, the real gospel. They don't want the real gospel to come out. They want to keep the lie out so they can be taken advantage of forever.
Every lie has an expiration date, and yours just rotted in front of the whole world. Chosen one, let that sit heavy for a second. The people who thought they could hide you, erase you, or disguise you as ordinary just got exposed in the worst way possible. They didn't just drop the ball, they shattered their own mask. Oops. Now everybody knows you've been that one all along, and no amount of excuses or backpedaling can stitch that secret back together. They played the game too long, and the universe finally flipped the board right in their face. Now, imagine this for a moment. Chosen one. Picture a snake that slithers in the dark, convinced no one sees it. It thinks the shadows protect it, thinks silence means safety. But then, bam, the floodlights slam on, and every eye in the room catches the snake mid-slither. There's no crawling back into hiding. That's exactly what just happened to your enemies. They spent years whispering lies, building illusions, stacking cards to cover your truth. But when the universe ripped the curtain down, it was their shame that got revealed, not yours. And the sick irony. They dug the very pit they just fell into. Here's the fact they can't outrun. Psychological research shows people naturally cling to truth longer than deception. Lies demand constant maintenance, constant energy to survive. But truth doesn't need rehearsal. It carves itself into memory like stone. That's why no matter how many rumors they pushed, no matter how many staged setups they spun, the truth about you stayed alive beneath it all. And when the slip came, and oh, it came hard, it wasn't your name in question. It was theirs. Their credibility, their so-called control, their whole fake empire went up in smoke. They didn't just mess up, Chosen One, they committed public self-destruction. And thank you, Chosen One, for standing here with me in this moment. Don't forget to pay this message back by simply pressing the like and subscribe to help spread this message to more souls, because it's the responsibility of all of us to spread the light. Thank you for being part of this mission. You are part of a force bigger than any lie, stronger than any smear, unstoppable against every shadow. Back to the truth. They underestimated you so deeply that it became their addiction. They thought if they kept labeling you as average, the world would swallow it whole. But what they didn't calculate is the timing of the universe. The universe waits for the exact moment where exposure hurts the most, and then it lets the truth rip wide open. That moment is now. They thought they had years to keep you boxed in, but all they did was set you up for the most dramatic reveal anyone could imagine. Think about this. If someone hides a diamond in mud, the diamond doesn't lose its shine. In fact, when it's finally cleaned, it glows even brighter because of what it survived. That's you, Chosen One. For years, they tried to bury your brilliance under dirt, gossip, and silence.
My entire life. Yeah, my whole life was very difficult. Entire life. I remember as a baby being sick with allergies and couldn't breathe and having saliva, having to hold it in my mouth because I couldn't swallow it. Y'all just don't know. I couldn't see well. My glasses were extremely like Coke bottles, and I was made fun of. Y'all don't know what I have been through in my life. You don't have a clue. And then you go to church and they tell you something's wrong with you. You like boys. Something's wrong with you when you're treated differently. All of you are liars, and you will account for the lies you taught and for the millions of people you killed with a lie that you called the truth. You are demons, and you will pay the price.
Here's the fact they can't outrun. Psychological research shows people naturally cling to truth longer than deception. Lies demand constant maintenance, constant energy to survive. But truth doesn't need rehearsal. That moment is now. They thought they had years to keep you boxed in, but all they did was set you up for the most dramatic reveal anyone could imagine. Chosen One. For years, they tried to bury your brilliance under dirt, gossip, and silence. But now, the dirt has fallen away, and the brilliance is blinding everyone. They're squinting, covering their eyes, because your light exposes everything they hoped would stay buried. And there's no going back. Once the world sees a diamond, no one can be tricked into believing it's just a stone. Secrets don't crawl back into shadows once daylight hits them. And this is daylight at its rawest. You've proven that no smear campaign, no rumor mill, no sabotage machine can bury what is undeniable. They thought silencing you would keep them safe, but the universe twisted it. Your silence became the echo that haunted them until the reveal. And when the reveal hit, it stripped them bare.
Their lies look pitiful now. Their schemes look childish. Their masks look cracked. The whole stage flipped, and the audience saw the truth. You've been that one all along. And here's the slap they'll feel forever. They can't reverse it. They can't stuff the truth back into a closet. Once exposed, it grows, it spreads, it sticks in every conversation, every glance, every guilty whisper they overhear. They wanted you forgotten, but now you're unforgettable. They wanted you hidden, but now you're the headline. They wanted you ordinary, but now you're extraordinary in the eyes of everyone they tried to deceive. The irony burns, doesn't it? They poured all their energy into burying you, but what they really buried was their own reputation.
Sad, isn't it? Put all that work into doing the devil's work and end up with nothing.
In a meeting on Wednesday, the UNC System Board of Governors discussed increasing tuition by 3%. The tuition increase would not be a requirement for campuses, and 3% would be the maximum increase. The possible tuition increase comes as the board sees impacts of inflation and state budget concerns. A passenger rail station could be coming to Research Triangle Park, potentially serving tens of thousands of people who work in the area. A recent study conducted by the Triangle West Transportation Planning Organization indicates a passenger rail station could relieve congestion on I-40 and local roadways. Research Triangle Foundation VP of Planning and Public Policy, Travis Creighton, tells WNCN News.
As we're thinking about continuing to grow, adding new jobs, adding things like residential to the park, and other uses, we are preparing to unlock a multimodal future for the park.
The long-awaited digital reissue of Buckingham Nicks offers two perspectives on the 1973 pre-Fleetwood Mac album by Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. For newcomers, the Friday release is a taste of vintage Los Angeles singer-songwriter pop. For longtime fans, it's a treasure trove of clues and portents. Melissa Vale, NCN News.
Death of a loved one is devastating. WBAG has won the 24-25 North Carolina Crime Stoppers Association Media Award for the top media outlet for the state, and Alamance County's Crime Stoppers earned a productivity award as well. Officer Bobby Davis from the Burlington Police Department nominated WBAG, and WBAG's Todd Davis accepted the award. It was presented in Charlotte. A new Elon poll says that AI is not going to be good for everybody. Impact on the 12 core human capabilities and capacities will be more negatively than positively addressed in the next 10 years, said more than half of American adults in a survey reached Wednesday by the Elon University poll. In particular, social and emotional intelligence, empathy and moral judgment, capacity and willingness to think deeply about complex subjects, sense of individual agency, confidence in their own abilities, and self-identity, meaning and purpose in life were named as the sampling of 105 Americans who were polled by Elon. The findings were presented in Durham at the RTI International Convention. The 285-page presentation was called The Human Edge, Our Future with Artificial Intelligence.
It's 7 minutes after 8 o'clock.
Welcome to Talkline. Happy to have you along. Hope you will give us a call, join in the conversation. You know, we've been working hard for years and years, ever since I've been here at WBAG, in helping the people at the North Carolina Crime Stoppers Association. Well, Davis and Todd Davis accepted the award, and we're proud of that. We appreciate the Crime Stoppers here in North Carolina. Appreciate them, and glad that they presented us with that award. We appreciate it.
Good morning. You're on Talkline.
Good morning, Mr. Terry.
Hey there.
Yes, sir. Toward the end of yesterday's program, I know that Michael, I believe, called in, and I'm sorry I missed a portion of his comments. As I walked back into the room, I believe he was commenting on something that somebody had said that was in some way connected to the Charlie Kirk assassination, and that is that the person had said that former President Biden should be exposed to capital punishment, and Michael questioned, well, how could this be said when it comes from somebody that's both say they're Christian. Let me say that I don't think he was talking about me, but let me say that anyone who makes that statement, anyone who's wrong, they have poison in their heart. This is the same kind of hate that is thrown toward President Trump, and not a dime's worth of difference. It's the same kind of hate that comes from the demonic forces of hell that have invaded this country. And the comment to which Michael refers is an attack. It's an attack on Mr. Biden. And I can tell you, in all of my comments on this program, or anywhere I'm at for that matter, I have never attacked Mr. Biden. I have rightfully attacked his policies and related job performance. And there is a difference between criticizing him about he handled the border situation, for example, and saying that Biden is a sorry so-and-so, which becomes an attack. That's what results in this name-calling, and it needs to stop. Now, all of this leads me to two subjects of concern this morning. First of all, with reference to capital punishment, I've said, as I've said before on the program, and that is I favor capital punishment. And there are those who will say, well, if you were a Christian, you would make that comment. Well, first of all, I am a Christian, and God is the one who supports capital punishment. That's made very clear.
And let's make it clear that in the West, God is the government of deception. You type of people are deceptive.
Kirk case. Once the perpetrator is actually convicted, he hasn't been convicted yet, but convicted, based on conclusive evidence that they have already collected. Once that case is concluded and if he's convicted and found guilty, he should be sentenced to die. And I would even suggest that he be taken out of the courtroom, as in the old days of the West, and taken outside and be executed. And I would also suggest that it be done with an electric chair, because hanging or death by firing squad is entirely too lenient. The way he would suffer doesn't even come close to the suffering that's inflicted upon the loved ones of Charlie Kirk. And it's not just Charlie Kirk. I'm speaking of the loved ones of all of those who are suffering because of violence.
Are you talking about all the millions that y'all drowned in the Atlantic Ocean coming here on Jesus? Y'all came here on Jesus, and thousands and millions of Africans drowned coming to America. Is that not political violence? You sorry ass, deceptive devil?
So add that in doing this, lots and lots of money would be saved. Folks, can you imagine?
That's all y'all think about is y'all sorry ass money. And what you gonna do with it when your soul is called? What you gonna do with your money when the Lord say, come here, soul? What you gonna do with your money? It ain't no damn good.
2,100. That's ridiculous. And several days ago, while eating breakfast, and I'm changing subjects here, but in eating breakfast in a restaurant, I was engaged in a conversation with another customer concerning the performance of President Trump. The customer recognized the president's outstanding accomplishment when it comes to the border situation, but he was critical of his performance pertaining to the economy. He let me know that in a poll that was released recently, he said the number one concern of the Americans as related to Trump and his performance is economy, specifically high prices. Now, I'm actually not surprised, because I've tried to explain to him, as I have on the radio, that we must be very careful to separate.
Jim, your 5 minutes is up. I'm timing you. You've been up your 5 minutes, Jim, but Harry ain't gonna say nothing to you. He gonna wait till Michael come in and say, you got 5 minutes left. You done took off 5 minutes.
Do we remember when Mr. Biden threw $1 trillion in the economy that was not needed or whatever, not needed, and this is what started that rampant inflation that went to 19%. And I tried to explain to this gentleman that 19% under Biden is still built into the prices we're paying today. It doesn't go away. You know, I think there's some folks that think when Donald Trump said, I'm going to manage the economy, and he's going to take a magic wand and he's going to rub it across all the prices and whatever, and they're going to go back to what they were when he left office. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. When he returned to office, it wasn't that simple. and the inflation is built in. And in my conversation with that gentleman, I went to one of my favorite examples of this, and that was under Jimmy Carter. It wasn't unusual for the price of a house to jump $100,000 in a short period of time. I remember. And that $100,000 is still built into the price of houses today. Maybe a house today could be $175,000, but because of inflation, it's now $400,000. And the sad thing about this, folks, is the fact that young people are having to face this. These folks just coming out of college, and they would love to own a nice house, and they're having to go into an apartment, which is one of the reasons why all of these apartments are being built around Burlington. And I say all of this morning because my number one concern about the president is, will the American people measure his performance on the economy starting the day that he went into office? It's the only fair way you do it. And by the way, in saying that and concluding this morning, if you ask the question, well, Jim, what is his grade? What's his scorecard? 2.9% inflation, including the tariffs. By the way, that's a lot better than 19%. Have a good day, Mr. Harry. God bless you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. 222-9224, the head on Talk Line.
Good morning, this is me.
Yes, sir.
Yep, David, back up at it again, and so am I. Listen, you done had 3 police officers ambushed and killed in Pennsylvania, and 2 injured and still in the hospital. 1 man. You see what I'm saying? 5 police. See, you people don't only know not who God is, you don't know who the infidels is. You see what I'm saying? Some people, now listen to what I'm saying. Some people don't care about your police officers or Trump or nobody else. These people will sacrifice themselves to carry out Satan's work. But you don't know who Satan is either. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't read the Bible, you read this filth that these people with these neckties around their neck.
And they got a mask on, and they wear that mask very well. They're great actors and actresses. You better be able to see in the spirit.
Let us, now I don't know who us is, and ain't no need to Jim to talk, or you or nobody else, you don't know who us is either. This is what God said. Now let us create man in our image, which is God, the image. Now when you see, you ignorant people, when you heard him say image, you know what an image is? Don't you people know what an image is? You're the same as God. You see, he's a spirit and you're the flesh, and this is the reason he created you in his image. Listen, and God would destroy you, but he can't. You see what I'm saying? Because if he destroys man completely and don't keep no seeds of man, the image of God will be gone. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is over Jim's head. He don't know nothing about this. I got this from God.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Man will be gone if the image of God will be gone. This is the reason that Jesus Christ said he was the image of his Father. You see what I'm saying? Because Jesus Christ was the flesh, and the Father is the Spirit. You see what I'm saying? And this is the reason that Jesus said, when you see me, you see God. Because you're looking at the image of God. Or every man is the image of God. Regardless to what you hypocrite preachers and things say, I know where this come from. It come from the book. And you people don't understand murder and killing and things like that. God has said there will be wars and numerous of wars because of these wicked people. You see, the woman done this when she touched the forbidden fruit. You see what I'm saying? And this is where their eyes was open to sin. Their eyes was already open. Their eyes wasn't closed. They were closed to sin. Now, you become like God, knowing good and evil. And you can't handle it. You see what I'm saying? This is the reason this boy shot this man. He couldn't handle it. And God knowed it. And this is the reason listen, so let me preach to you and tell you how it is to the Jim telling this about killing and going. Let me tell you what it is. See, you can't help yourself because you can't handle Satan. You see what I'm saying? And you do these things. This is the reason you rob banks. This is the reason you mess with people's wives. This is the reason you get your mind mixed up and you mess with men. You see what I'm saying? And women mess with women. Because you can't handle good and evil. And God knowed it. And he drove you out of the kingdom. Listen, you are here on your own. And you are saying, oh, God do this and God bless that. God's going to bless nothing. You're here because of what you done, and listen unto the woman, and hearken unto her voice, and God said, this is your punishment for what you have done. And he throwed you out. All right. You see what I'm saying? And you try to turn this around with Jim. Jim knows nothing about God. Because he's preaching filth and hell and hate and stuff. You understand what I'm saying? You listen, you want to electrocute this boy, or either hang him or shoot him or anything to suit you, and God says to you, vengeance is mine, not yours. You see what I'm saying? So quit this lying and going on, because this is the reason that 3 police officers is dead. You see what I'm saying? Because you run up on Satan. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to conquer sin, and you're not going to conquer hate and going on, because you are here on your own.
Appreciate it. All right, 222-9224 for a domestic-related investigation that began Tuesday, and that's how this was in Pennsylvania. That's how they got 3 got killed, 2 were wounded. On Talk Line. Burlington Graham. Total on Talk Line.
Jim Branson with Triad Retirement Group. He'd love to help you.
All right, 222-9224, 7 minutes after 9.
Morning, Harry. How are you?
I am well. I hope you are.
Oh, pretty good. I have a bring up something about me again. You know, he talked about yesterday. He mentioned a couple of shootings. And so I just, Chicago is not as bad as Memphis. But this is a city and a state that doesn't want any National Guard in, no ICE people, nothing. And this is just some dates in the last 3 months, okay? Because the mayor claims he's really clamped down on crime. He doesn't need help. On September the 15th of this year, there were 26 people shot, 3 fatally injured, 3 dead. On September the 7th, there were 18 people shot and 6 killed. On September the 1st, there were 54 people shot and 7 killed. On August the 2nd, there were 54 shot. On August the 22nd, there were 44 people shot and 6 fatally killed. And in the first weekend of summer, at least 23 were shot and 2 fatally killed. Now, I look at those as mass murders, but that's an everyday issue in that town, in that city. These are just individual dates. These are not like a month. These are just individual dates. But yet he don't think he needs any help. He don't think the people that live in these areas where these people got shot and killed are just shot 54 people. I mean, I don't understand what he's talking about. He picks out a situation that happened in Las Vegas which I don't know how long that's just been, 3 or 4 years ago. And then he picks out another situation where the guy went into church in South Carolina. But, both of those were wrong. But what I'm saying is this is going on every day. Do you realize in Chicago, a person is shot every 2 hours, Harry? Every 2 hours, somebody gets shot in Chicago. But yet the governor and the mayor, we don't want you here. We don't think we need any help. And this is not the worst city. Memphis is the worst. You get Memphis, Chicago, Oakland, California, St. Louis, Missouri, the top 5. And I'm trying to think of the other one, but those are the ones I can remember that were in the top 5. I don't understand. I don't understand why these people don't want help. If I lived in that city, I'd want them there right now. The sad thing is, it might have been 54.
The man that's talking name is Barry. He's very ignorant. He's a redneck racist from Alamance County. He keeps saying he don't understand. He don't understand. He don't understand this and he don't understand that. The reason he don't understand is because he's ignorant. He thinks backwards. He don't understand that Native Americans were over in America and Africans were over in Africa and Europeans were over in Europe. And the Europeans was peeping. And so the Africans saw them peeping. And the Africans showed them how to be humans. Because they were wild animals. They tamed them. And they trained them. And got them down to being human-like. Because they were more like animal-like. And taught them how to do stuff. And what do? Turn around and backstab them, overtake them, come over only Jesus later on, and take them to the Americas, and got them praising their Jesus, beat Jesus into them. And now what you got over here, Jesus. They love some Jesus. Lord have mercy, and don't have no clue what it is.
Is afraid he was going to get shot. But he wasn't afraid to shoot somebody else. What a coward. I want to be taken in by plainclothes officers. I want them to be, I want it to be really soft, really nice. And of course they agreed with him because they wanted him to get him. Mm-hmm. But is that not amazing that a man that just shot there and shot and killed a person in cold blood, and he wants mercy from the police? He wants to be, taken in with,
I don't believe to understand why it is or what is in the mind of people that want to kill somebody else. I just can't fathom that. But it just seems ironic to me that a person who is accused of doing this thing, and if he's convicted of it, then he will be guilty, but is accused of it, he shot somebody and he's afraid of being shot. That's just so ironic to me. I don't pretend to know what's in these people's heads, because they're crazy folks. They really are.
He told his parents that he was going to commit suicide, and they said, no, don't do that. And they talked him into coming back home. Mm-hmm. And then when he comes back home, the minister there or something got with him and talked him into turning himself in. And then all of a sudden he went from killing Charlie Kirk to wanting to kill himself, but then he don't want to get killed.
Yeah. All right. I know it just makes it's so ironic. It makes no sense. And that's what's so sad about this whole situation is this kind of stuff makes no sense to most of us. It's just beyond. Why would anybody want to do something this horrible? It's just unbelievable to me. Hard for me to understand how you can get that messed up. But I know people are messed up. I really do. Let's take care. 222-9224. Cajuns is a wonderful place for you to go get a great buffet lunch every Tuesday through Friday from 11:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. in downtown Burlington, 286 East Front Street downtown. Now, Elois and all the nice people there at Cajuns, they invite you to come on by. They've got a selection of meats every day and vegetables every day, a dessert table, and a salad bar. Fried chicken is just wonderful. Has that secret ingredient. They got the best tea. They've got macaroni and cheese made from scratch every day. All the desserts are made fresh. I'm telling you, it's just a wonderful place to go. Everything prepared in-house and seasoned to perfection, just like Grandma used to make. Now, when they take the regular buffet down at 2 o'clock on Friday, they start setting up for Soul Food Friday night. Now, that's their big night. They have people come from everywhere, because Soul Food Friday night is 4 until 8 p.m. in downtown Burlington there at Cajuns. Now, they have a great lunch on Sunday, and if you've got an event coming up, they would love to talk to you about catering it for you. Call Elois, 336-227-9887. Cajuns. Tell them that you heard us talking about them on Talk Line. All right, good morning. You're on Talk Line.
Morning, Harry.
Hey there.
How your day going?
So far, so good.
All righty. You know, I watching the television last night, seen all these groups of young people, all of them trying to
Stop eating on the phone and
carry
smacking. I
on
don't want to hear that damn shit.
good work of Charlie Kirk. And that made my heart feel good for a while. And then they got
all that smacking you doing, man. You need to shut the fuck up and talk and stop smacking them lips.
and what you were talking about, several people talked about earlier this morning. Is there really good and evil? My opinion, there is. There is plumb evil. And I've seen evil in my lifetime. I've seen it when I was young. Back in the old days, there used to be a practice around here called Dragon Main in Burlington. And I seen a guy bump into another guy's bumper. And I mean, it wasn't no big deal. Wasn't even no tail lights, nothing broke. But the guy that run into the other guy, he jumped out of his car and run right up to the boy and slugged him, knocked him down on the ground. And it was one of them one-punch fights. You know, he hit him just in the right spot, down he went. Then I'm sitting the next car back. And then he starts kicking the guy. Well, I jumped out. And I told him, I said, man, don't kick him. Then he kicked him in the head then. And now you look around and everybody else just staring. And then the guy balls up his fist and he comes toward me. Well, when he got about 5 feet from him, I pulled a gun on him. And I thumbed the hammer back. I said, don't come no further. Then he stopped dead in his tracks. And he gave me a good cussing. And I said, you need to get in your car and go to hell on before you can't. And he did. And I went over and boy was out cold. And me and another couple of fellows, we helped him set up on the curb. And eventually the police come, and eventually the ambulance come, because his head had hit the ground. Well, not the ground, his ground had hit the pavement right up on the street. And somebody pulled his car over to the side. And I never did find out what happened. I hoped he got all right. But this guy was going to kick him to death over nothing. And I'm watching him while he's kicking him, and he was grinning. And I think I was looking in the face of evil. And I do believe I'd have been his next victim if I hadn't had a little snub-nosed Smith & Wesson 38. But if he'd have come at me, he was a whole lot bigger than I was, I'd have shot him. Now, if you think that's wrong, that's your opinion. But I had done seen him seriously hurt, maybe kill a guy over a bump up that he caused. Now that's evil.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, I can't imagine having a conversation with somebody who said that there was no evil. You know, because there are some real evil people on the face of this earth. I mean, they're just pure, unadulterated evil. So I would wonder whether there's anybody that doesn't understand that there is good and evil in this world.
I made a judgment on the boy, on the man that was probably going to knock me down and then kick my head in.
Well, I got that. I mean, I understand that. That's not that's not in doubt. It's just that, you would say there's some people that don't think there's evil. Well, I would wonder who they are, because there's evil everywhere. I mean, you don't have to go far before you find some pure, unadulterated evil in this world.
Well, what I think the problem is nowadays, and I'll hurry up, I know I'm about out of time. People don't think they're going to have to pay for what they do. We've got all these people that have murdered people in cold blood. And I mean, we have got films. I've seen films. You've seen films. Murder in cold blood because of different ideologies or road rage or whatever you want to kill it. They kill people. And they need to know unequivocally that they're going to pay for premeditated murder, planned, acted upon, carried out, and shot down in cold blood, that they're going to lose their life either at the end of a rope or with being put to sleep or set in a chair and shot with half a dozen high-powered rifle bullets. And they need to show it on TV, on the 6 o'clock news, and say, you are responsible for what you do, and the state, by the law, will take your life and hopefully send you to hell.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. You have a good day. Take care. 26 minutes after 9 o'clock, 26 after 9.
Today, through Crime Stopper's social media presence and its own P3 Tip mobile app, the process is even easier and just as safe. Follow Crime Stoppers of Alamance County on social media or download the P3 Tips app today. All people have a right to be safe in their own home, and Crime Stoppers of Alamance County gives people the tools to make their neighborhoods safer.
And we appreciate Crime Stoppers giving us their state award. Yeah, they did that yesterday down in Charlotte. We appreciate that.
People all the time. And it's never going to stop. If people don't want to give up the guns, if you don't want to give up the guns, you don't want to give up the violence. And that's the way it is. And I heard Jim talking about, I agree with what the me guy said about Jim. Jim cherry-picked things, and at the very end, Jim's talking about Charlie Kirk, and he implied that the guy who shot Charlie Kirk had something to do with 3 deputies, Phil Allman, that was killed. It was a domestic incident. It had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. But that didn't suit Jim. Jim wanted to pile it on for the killing of Charlie Kirk. And another thing Jim keeps talking about, Joe Biden gave money that was not needed, and he started inflation. Trump gave the same money. Trump's money didn't cause inflation. Only Joe Biden's money caused inflation. Jim is pitiful on so many levels. He sat around these restaurants talking loud, thinking that people are going to hear his voice and say, hey, you that talk line guy, right? He sits around and they signify and talking about Trump, and Jim's spreading a lot of garbage, stuff that's not true, and he claims he's a Christian, and if a Christian means following the teachings of Jesus Christ, then Jim falls way short. Jim's nowhere near being a Christian. And I heard Barry yesterday, he brought up race again, just the day before. He said he's so tired of talking about race. But then he come right back the next day and brought up race. He's not intelligent enough to talk about anything else, so every day is race and what's going on in the big cities. And I wish while Barry is doing his research, why don't you research percentages of people, black and white, who are raping little boys, sodomizing children, committed incest, and all the other things that white people do to break the law. They do more crime than blacks on any given day. But Barry cannot do that because he's only want to research what goes on with black people. And he claims he's sick and tired of talking about it, but yet every single day he's obsessed with that. He can see nothing else. Black man did this, 88%. Black man did this, 35%. He's always obsessed with some percentages that make no sense. He should come into the real world and realize blacks kill more, whites kill more people in this country than any other group. They commit more rapes, murders, sodomize more children.
All right.
Tell more lies, steal more money.
All right.
All that stuff.
All right. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. 222-9224. Stop. Messed up stuff happens every day, but we don't.
I sit and listen to the people talk about different things, and it's statements that you made that the Congress is not doing the people's business, and I will say again, yes, Congress is exactly doing the people's business, because the people are so divided now, and their congressman, depending on what party they belong to, is doing exactly what the far right, let me just say the extremists of the left and the extremists of the right want. You have a Congress that will adjourn, with all the problems we got going on in this country, will adjourn the Congress to keep from voting on releasing the files of a pedophile, because it may make the president look bad. So you're going to adjourn Congress with everything wrong we got going on. We now hear that plays out in a small way on this radio show every day. Jim's going to talk about the economy. The economy is horrible. The dollar fell for the first time in 50 years. Last month, we had more people looking for a job than there were jobs available. That's for the first time in a very long time. And he says, and we was told, we don't care if Donald Trump is a felon. We don't care if he fondles women or is accused of messing with little kids. We don't care about that. We care about the price of eggs. The price of eggs have gone up. He said that he was going to cut our utility bills, the energy bill. Energy bill has gone up 10% faster than inflation.
Those are stats. Those are facts. But we're going to say, well, it's just Joe Biden's economy. Once you become president, it's your economy. Trump said that, it ain't going to be his economy until 2028. What? It's not going to be your economy. And then the fools like, excuse my grandma, Shanae said that. Idiots like Jim is going to go along with that. And what's scary is a person that he talks to, he gives that ignorance to somebody else and tells them, okay, well, this is the reason this is not Trump's fault. But yet still, Jim used to come on this station when gas would drop a penny. Look at the gas price. Look what Donald Trump done did for gas. When Donald Trump doesn't have anything to do with gas, it's a commodity. It's a commodity. We're in a capitalist country. And for somebody who say he has an MBA, he doesn't act like it. For somebody who say he has an MBA, he doesn't understand the damage that tariffs are doing. He doesn't understand the damage. It's like a trickle-down effect. Reagan talked about the trickle-down economy. Well, that's true, as well as when things are bad. If something happens that this production over here stops, that just don't close down that plant. That has far-reaching effects on far other areas of the economy. He should know that, but because it's Trump in office, it's okay. So our country, our congressmen are doing exactly what we want them to do, or what they see that the public wants. They want to be able to say it's a horrible thing, which it is, of Charlie Kirk's murder, and we're going to give a moment of silence. They're not doing this for using this as political father. That's all they're doing. But yet still, there were kids that were shot at school. One little kid threw his body over his little classmate and was shot in the back. There was no moment of silence for them, led by Speaker Johnson. So what is such as an outrage? Does one life outweigh the other? Well, according to what the politicians see, they see all this outrage and all these people upset and having these moments of silence, and so they're gonna capitalize on that. When the Congress lady and her husband was shot in Minnesota along with their dog, I didn't hear all the outrage over that. I didn't hear all of that. But what is snipping up under our noses, whether you agree with what anybody's saying or not, they have the right to say it. That was fundamental in the United States. It was freedom of speech. We had the right to say what we want. Jimmy Kimmel show was stopped last night, or the night before last, because of something he said, and the guy sent me the tape of what he said. I said, this is why they poured the show? And so I saw the SEC chair come out and say why that they did it. And I'm saying, is that the real reason why they did it? And then I heard the
See, Michael, that's a great question. I don't think it is. I think you nailed it. That's not the reason that they did that. They ended that show. You're exactly right. That's an excuse.
And that's scary. And this last thing, I know I'm running out of time, but one other quick thing. It's me did not say that when we have tornadoes or anything bad happen, catastrophic in this country, it's because of Republicans. He thinks the broad brush over everybody. Republicans and Democrats, we're all going to hell in his mind. That we're all doing things wrong, which we are doing things wrong. And I do believe God is getting back at us for some of the things we're doing, but that's not so. But the guy from Carolina called yesterday. Y'all had a conversation about the way things are. I looked at the Kash Patel in the with Congress. I looked at that, and this is scary because this is our FBI director, and these are our representatives, and they were yelling at each other like in the schoolyard, and it was like, I'm gonna outdo you, I'm gonna out insult you. And my thing is, what is being done for the people? What is being done to protect my life? What is being done to protect your life? What is being done to protect these cities that everybody is concerned about, Memphis and Chicago? What are you doing to protect those cities? What have you been doing to protect the pedophile? To protect the little kids from the pedophiles? Y'all are arguing and insulting each other. It's like, who can get the best insult? Who can get the best a 15-second ad that they can play for their re-election, or Kash Patel can give to Donald Trump to say, see, I defended you. And while they're doing that, our so-called leaders are doing that, who is suffering? The people, the citizens, the ones that pay their salary, the ones that put them up there to do to do their job. But they're not doing it anymore. And I think that's our fault.
Yeah,
because
it is.
we have chosen sides.
It is.
We have chosen sides, like I said all along, like it's Duke and Carolina. But that's a game. This is not a game.
Well,
we lose it.
Yeah, okay. But see, Michael, they're treating it like a game. That's what, to me, that big fight that you saw, that's the game. That is a game. You know, it is meaningless. It has, what did that fight between Kash Patel and the senators have to do with you and me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Didn't help us, didn't make us better, didn't make us worse, it's just part of the political game that they play up there. You nailed it, Michael. Who's going to get the best sound bite? That's what they're looking for. And it's ridiculous. And another thing that you said that just is, you nailed it. What we're going through is the far right and the far left are controlling the narrative. And we need more people who are center left and center right speaking. You know, and when he first started running, I never thought I would be able to say this. We need people like John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, who is willing to say, hey, what the Democrats just did is wrong. What the Republicans just did is wrong. Here's somebody who's willing to sit up. There are people all across the country now. I heard something. You know, there are two people. This was an article. Michael, I think this is great. You might go and read it. It's one of those articles that has good news, bad news. It's got Democrat, Republican, everything in it. It's from Salon.com, and I don't usually read much stuff from Salon.com. But they came up with something that really makes sense. And the headline was, is there any way forward after Charlie Kirk's murder? And they quoted two people who really are trying to find a way forward. And I think these two people, and bless their hearts, one of them is not someone who has ever really, in my mind, looked to get us going forward. But because he's getting ready to run for president, maybe that's what it is. But these two people, I can say nothing but praise for them, because they are trying to find a way forward. Utah Governor Spencer Cox called for an off-ramp to political hostilities, while California Governor Gavin Newsom released a statement condemning political violence. He lauded Kirk's commitment to debate, adding the best way to honor Charlie's memory is to continue his work, engage with each other across ideology through spirited discourse. Political commentator Ezra Klein wrote, you can dislike much of what Kirk believed, and the following statement is still true. Kirk was practicing politics in exactly the right way. So there are people out there, and I would have expected it from Governor Cox and from Ezra Klein, but California Governor Newsom, he is saying the right thing. You know, you can disagree with what somebody says on the far left or the far right, but that doesn't mean that you can't engage in a conversation with somebody about that. Now, one other thing, Michael, I think you need to look this one up. You said the price of eggs haven't gone down. Yes, they have. Look at the price of eggs since January. That's all you got to do. There's a chart. You go online. There's bunches of them. Look at that price of eggs have gone way down. You know, and I don't. This is me. I don't think the president of the United States has anything to do with that. Like you're talking about the President of the United States doesn't have anything to do with the price of gasoline. You know, that in a technical language is true. The President of the United States has nothing that he can do that says, okay, I'm going to go do this and the price of gasoline is going to go down, or I'm going to go do this and the price of eggs are going to go down. And anybody who thinks that he can do that, well, what happens is he pushes what he believes is the right direction to go in. You know, drill, drill, drill. And what happens is if you talk about you're going to open up more oil drilling in the United States, that means that the price of gasoline, if people believe that, is probably going to go down some. You know, he didn't cause that to go down, but his rhetoric did the same thing with other things. But the president doesn't have any direct influence over much. But all the things that happened during his presidency, all the good things he can take credit for, and all the bad things he has to take blame for. That's another thing Michael said in his call. You know, all of a sudden, you know, you can't say that this isn't my economy. No, it is. It's your economy. As soon as you take the oath of office, it's your economy. What's going on is yours. Now, you can say all you want that it was influenced by the people before you, and that's a fair thing to say. It's absolutely fair, but it doesn't change anything. Once you're the president of the United States, the economy is yours, and it's yours from the day you take the oath, not some down the road. You can make excuses like that, but in the long run, and you can see it in the polls right now, in the long run, you're not going to escape that. You cannot convince people when you're the president of the United States that this isn't your fault.
And suddenly the battlefield was no longer tilted in their favor. In fact, because truth will always outweigh deceit. You stopped letting manipulation slide into your life unnoticed. You woke up, and that awakening destroyed the very foundation their tactics stood upon. The power of awareness is simple, but unstoppable. Think about it. Darkness only exists until light is switched on. Darkness only exists until light is switched on. Lies only hold weight until the truth is revealed. Darkness only exists until light is switched on. Lies only hold weight until the truth is revealed. Darkness only exists until light is switched on. Lies only hold weight until the truth is revealed. And manipulation only works on those who cannot see it.
Long before colonial borders were drawn, before foreign laws and religions reshaped the continent, Africa held stories of love and desire that history often tried to erase. In kingdoms and villages across the land, same-sex relationships were not always hidden. They were practiced, ritualized, and in some cultures, even honored. From warrior societies that forged intimate bonds on the battlefield, Africa held stories of love and desire. In kingdoms and villages across the land, same-sex relationships were not always hidden. In warrior societies that forged intimate bonds on the battlefield, to royal courts where male lovers held power and influence, the reality of pre-colonial Africa was far more complex than the silence left in today's textbooks. This is the History Outsiders rewrote, replacing acceptance with stigma and turning lived traditions into forbidden shadows.
Has the Bible ever been altered or edited to change its original meaning? If you believe that the Bible is the perfect inerrant word of God, you likely believe not only that it was inspired by God, but also that it's been perfectly preserved through the ages, such that not a jot or tittle has disappeared from or been added to the original text. But first, I want to make one caveat, suddenly becoming a glowing endorsement of infidelity, or when the Bishop's Bible rendered the phrase "cast thy bread upon the waters" as "lay thy bread upon wet faces." What? But these errors, hilarious as they are, were quickly caught and they never stuck. I'm more interested in significant additions, omissions, or alterations that made their way into the Bible which were widely accepted as Holy Scripture despite not being in previous editions of the text. If you crack open most Bibles to Matthew 5:22, you'll find a passage where Jesus appears to condemn anger. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother or sister will be subject to judgment. But if you open up the King James Version to the same text, you'll notice an odd caveat. But I say to you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of judgment. Hot-headed King James purist can breathe a sigh of relief thanks to this exception for justifiable anger. But why the discrepancy? Was this an addition to, or this a subtraction from the original text? Well, the Greek for without a cause is simply the word iki. And if we examine the oldest papyrus fragment of this verse, P64, it's not there. Only part of the verse is preserved, but you can see the top of the words that come before and after iki, and this phrase for without a cause is clearly missing. Similarly, Codex Vaticanus, a mid-4th century text, one of our oldest and most reliable Greek New Testament manuscripts, also omits the word entirely. In Codex Sinaiticus, another ancient Greek manuscript from around this time period, you can see where a scribe scribbled the word iki into the margins as if to add his own commentary on the text. Let's be real for a second, if you need to modify the Bible so as to justify anger, you just might have anger issues. So this marginal note found its way into later editions and eventually into the King James. Oops. In the early days of Christianity, there wasn't just one version of Christianity. Most of the doctrines generally accepted by most Christians today were hotly disputed, including the notion of the Trinity. Some believed Jesus to be God, but refused to accept that he ever had a physical body. Others were happy to accept that he was fully man, but contested his divinity. Still others believed that he wasn't God's son until his baptism, at which point God adopted him. And others believed that Jesus was exalted to heaven, but never attained equality with God. And the list goes on. But the idea that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit were the same being was a hotly debated issue. It makes sense then that early copyists of the New Testament would be tempted to alter the text of their scriptures to support their interpretation of it. And that is exactly what we see. If you open up any edition of the King James to 1 John 5:7-8, you'll see the following verse. For there are three that bear record. In heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are one. And there are three that bear witness in earth, the Spirit, and the water, and the blood, and these three agree in one.
Belief isn't just a...
This is the only passage in the Bible that explicitly lays out the Trinity. Without this bit here, you have to infer the existence of the Trinity from other verses. But if it's such an important verse, why do all of our modern translations of the New Testament now exclude it? Well, the King James Version was based on more recent, less reliable copies of the New Testament. The manuscripts that we have at our disposal now are much older, although still far from perfect. But none of our earliest or best manuscripts contain this bit. Instead, it was added in later, likely to support a Trinitarian worldview at a time when that doctrine was hotly debated. Fun fact, when the Bible scholar Erasmus was working on his annotated copy of the New Testament, which would become the basis of the Textus Receptus and later the King James Version, he realized that none of the old Greek manuscripts that he had at his disposal contained this reference to the Trinity, although the Latin versions did. So he didn't include it in the first two editions of his text. But he was accused of heresy for attempting to remove the Trinity from the text. Facing the cancel culture mob of the 16th century, aka fellow Christians, he promised to include it in future editions if anyone could present him with a Greek manuscript containing this omitted phrase. So they forged one just for him. He added it to the third edition of the Textus Receptus, which was used by the authors of the KJV, which is how it found its way into the text. The Johannine comma isn't the only instance of verses being altered to support belief in the Trinity. 1 Timothy 3:16, speaking of Jesus, mentions he who was made manifest in the flesh. However, some versions of the Bible change the he who to God, who was manifest in the flesh. This change in Greek is simply the difference of a single line through an omicron. This was changed to this, which was believed to be a shorthand for theos or God. And while it may seem like a minor change, the change strongly supports the belief in the Trinity and would have been welcomed ammunition for the Trinitarian perspective in the early church. But how do we know that God being manifest in the flesh isn't the original text? Well, once again, let's go back to our earliest, most reliable texts. You can see in Codex Sinaiticus a note in the margins where the scribe pins a correction. Then, in Codex Alexandrinus, you can still see an omicron, but text bleeding through from the back of the page makes it look like a theta. A later scribe then added a line above the word to signify that it was a contraction for the word theos. But this line was added later with different ink than the original text. To go one step further, some scholars think that neither version represents the original, because the grammatical structure is incredibly awkward, and we have other manuscripts that omit the sigma as well, and simply have an omicron, like the original rendition of the 5th century Codex Claromontanus, which would translate to, the mystery of God which was made manifest in the flesh. However, even here you can see evidence of tampering. This codex has had no less than 9 correctors over the years, and you can clearly see where a later editor scratched out part of the omicron to make it look like a sigma, and then added a theta to the left and a line over the top. But if you compare the other sigmas and omicrons on the page, pinned by the original author, you can clearly tell that this was originally an omicron, not a sigma. Another verse change to support the notion of the Trinity comes from Matthew 24:36, which speaks of the end times and states that no one knows the day or the hour in which it will occur, not the angels in heaven, nor even the Son, but only the Father. This represented a massive problem to Trinitarians because if Jesus was God, how could he not know if God knew?
trust in the Lord.
Trust in the Lord.
Put your trust in Him. Him. You wanna try Him, yeah.
Sang ranks. Hallelujah. Glory. Hallelujah. Thank you, Most High. Woo. Glory.
The new. Just believe he will. I tried to rest. But then I tried my best. I know he will. I know he will.
Hallelujah. Praise the Most High God. Yes.
Democrats have made clear to the American people over the last several weeks that this country is far too expensive. The cost of living is way too high. And Donald Trump, as well as House Republicans, have failed to do anything about it. Donald Trump and House Republicans promised to lower the high cost of living on day one. Costs haven't gone down in the United States of America. It's gone up. America is too expensive. Inflation is on the rise. And Donald Trump and Republicans have failed to keep their core promise to make life more affordable. Housing costs are too high. Healthcare costs are too high. Childcare costs are too high. Utility costs are too high. Electricity bills are skyrocketing as we speak because of the failed policies of Donald Trump and the one big ugly bill. And the American people are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, to live paycheck to paycheck. Can't thrive, and in so many instances can barely survive. America is too expensive. Republicans have broken our healthcare system and unleashed the unfortunate and painful reality that millions of Americans are about to experience dramatic increases in their healthcare premiums, copays, and deductibles. Millions of families will incur thousands of dollars in additional healthcare costs a year when they are barely making it right now.
Come on back, peaceful. Easy now.
Easy now. Nigga, come back here. Nigga, come back here.
With my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, when I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it.
You have made it 100 miles to freedom. Would you like to pick a new name to mark your freedom? Kingdom.
Sing, Cynthia.
The sun begins to shine. Gonna start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know I gotta make up mine. And I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Hey! 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes you have. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything, oh Lord. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, oh yeah, it's running after me. Oh yeah, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing. All my life you have been faithful. All of my life you've been faithful. All my life you have been so good. So good with every breath that I am able. Every breath I'm able, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Yes, I am. Of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of Some people say that I wouldn't make it. Some people say that I will never come to no good. Some people laugh in my face. Some people even lie on me behind my back, but I'm still holding on. I'm still holding on.
tried to turn me around. But every time I think about how the Lord brought me through, how he blessed my mother and father, Lord, my grandma and grandpa too. That's why I'm still. Sometimes late at night I cry, Lord, I'm still holding on. You can say what you want to about me. I don't know, I don't care what you say about me. Lord, I'm still. Yes, I